So I wanted to do a brief introduction because I had shot a video about a young boy named Khalif Browder, and I tried to do some Netflix footage for my computer, and apparently I can't render that screen. Maybe it's a copyright issue. But basically, the Khalif Browder story was a Netflix special that was put together and produced by Jay-Z. And it had a lot of legal minds, guys like Van Jones and some other guys. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they were featured in it. They were commentators in it. Some of the leading legal minds in terms of justice reform. Okay, especially in as it pertains to civil rights and black folks. Okay, so I tried to show some of that, and it wasn't able to be rendered to screen capture. So I just wanted to give you a preface and transition into the actual footage that I had made. And I'll also say right up front, guys, if you like the content I'm putting out, if it's helping you learn something or maybe see the world a different way, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'd like to grow my channel and just do my part. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna leave you to the rest of the video. I hope you guys enjoy. It's a short video. Khalif Browder was kind of the hallmark case for justice reform. Okay, this young black man went up to Rikers Island in New York for almost 3 years for a crime he did not commit. Okay, he was accused of stealing a laptop by a guy who had, I don't know if he had dual citizenship or if he wasn't a citizen, but not accused by that guy. But the only witness to say that he didn't do it was a guy who went back and forth to Mexico, and they never could produce the guy. So he sat in prison, Rikers Island, because he refused to plead guilty to a crime he did not commit. Okay, he was subject to more abuse than the average person could imagine. Getting beat down by inmates, correctional officers. It was a shit show. Okay. Anyway, he ended up killing himself. He could not readjust to society. It doesn't look like he had a positive masculine influence in his life. I don't know what was going on with his dad or what role his mom had to play with it. But the reason I'm bringing this up, this story, is because it ties into the video I made the other day about how the liberal narrative takes precedent over the success narrative or the populist narrative. Okay, Van Jones was very integral. So I wanted to show you this. I just want to show you President Trump signing prison reform bill. Now, I don't mean to conflate the issues of New York State with the federal reform bill, but here's the same guy, Van Jones, was very instrumental in writing the new Juvenile Justice Reform Act. And I'll just read this paragraph to you to talk about the purposes of the bill. Okay, so if you look at number 3 down here, I'll highlight it. To assist state, tribal, and local governments in addressing juvenile crime through the provision of technical assistance, research, training, evaluation, and the dissemination of current and relevant information on effective and evidence-based programs and practices for combating juvenile delinquency, and by adding at the end the following: to support a continuum of evidence-based or promising programs including delinquency prevention, intervention, mental health, behavioral health, and substance abuse treatment, family services, and services for children exposed to violence that are trauma-informed, reflect the science of adolescent development, and are designed to meet the needs of at-risk youth and youth who come into contact with the justice system. Okay? If that doesn't say Khalif Browder all over it, I don't know what else it could possibly be saying. Okay? So here we are. This rotten-ass racist president signing a criminal justice reform bill into law that was highly informed by Mr. Van Jones himself, the former Obama administrative aide. Did they do that When he
being
worked for
emotional.
Obama,
In the
no,
process
they
of
did
this,
not.
this has
But
brought
anyway, let's
together
watch it.
friendships that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. I'm now texting buddies with Van Jones, with Dick Durbin, and with Cory Booker, and I speak to Jared Kushner about 5 times a day. In the middle of dinner, when my phone rings, my family says to me, "It's Jared, isn't it?" I sat across from the Resolute desk from you a few months ago, Mr. President, with a few of my colleagues. I was here with Senator Scott, and Grassley, and Graham, and Jared Kushner was there. And as they asked me to explain the bill, what we had in mind, at one moment I tapped for emphasis gently on the Resolute desk, this great historic masterpiece, and to my astonishment, it echoed. It was loud. I thought all of a sudden that the Secret Service was going to come in and arrest me. But it made a loud noise. This bill today is going to make a loud noise. It's going to make a loud noise that extends across Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, from one end of this country to another, reminding this country that President Donald J. Trump has made America
Take
safe.
note that Trump's not
And
really
for
paying
that, I'll be
attention
forever
to Lee.
grateful to you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
This is a good conservative senator. Highly principled. Watch the intent that he watches with Van Jones with.
Mr. President, there's nothing more important than freedom.
Yep.
There's nothing more important than freedom. That's what America was founded on, what the civil rights movement was founded on, Civil War was fought over, women's rights, all the great movements about freedom. And this is a movement that's about freedom. In a country that is a democracy, we have the right to disagree. And we get to disagree.
Actually,
Dictatorship, you can't disagree.
constitutional republic,
Dictatorship,
but that's okay.
You have to agree. We get to disagree. And where we disagree, on immigration, on foreign policy, climate change, we should fight hard. But we have a responsibility where we do agree to work together hard. And the freedom of people who are trapped in a broken system, the freedom of people who are trapped in addiction, the freedom of people who are trapped in poverty, those are the people that your opportunity zones are targeting.
Just side point. Look at Mike Lee's face. He's still stuck on Van Jones calling it a democracy. He's like, he just called it a democracy. He can't get over that shit. I like Mike Lee. I just think it's funny, that look on his face.
Your opioid
Sorry.
policy is targeted
We'll
at,
continue.
and your criminal justice policy is targeted at. And when you're trying to help people on the bottom, sir, I will work with or against any Democrat, with or against any Republican, because there is nothing more important than freedom. So thank you, sir.
Mr. President.
Okay. So you have the Khalif Browder story, the landmark case for the need for criminal justice reform. You have Donald Trump, who ran as a Republican, but as a populist, signing a bipartisan criminal justice reform. What is the act called? What's it called, guys? It's called the Juvenile Justice Reform Act of 2018. Okay? So, Donald Trump is a racist. The left-wing media refuses to really highlight the importance of this bill. Okay? No one could watch the Khalif Browder story and not realize that we need some sort of prison, juvenile justice reform, okay? If you watch that story, that poor kid was so used and abused, he could not recover. He couldn't wash it off of him. He could not wash off the stain that it left on his life. And he eventually took his life. It's tragic. We could delve into his family situation. We could say, well, what was she doing? What was he doing? But he was really let down, okay? And here is Donald Trump signing Juvenile Justice Act reform. And you got to believe that it's because of cases like Khalif Browder. I mean, this kid was on probation. He couldn't post bond because he was on probation because he was caught in a bread truck that his friend stole. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was a free-range kid. I mean, we used to throw rocks through windows and do a lot of stupid shit when we were kids. Now, I could very well have a record, you know. This kid just happened to get caught, and he had a rough go. But anyway, so back to the narrative, okay? The narrative is that Trump is a racist because he doesn't want people at the bottom to do well. It's nonsense, people. It's nonsense, okay? People are so infected by their victim status and the liberal narrative that they can't see that he actually just wants to do things to move the country forward, okay? He wants to stop illegal immigration. He wants black people that are citizens of this country to have opportunities. How could you not see that from everything that I've shown you, okay? Anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to go over today. I'm going to post in the links, a link to Khalif Browder, to Van Jones, to the Netflix documentary, and to the Juvenile Justice Act reform in the description, okay, if you guys want to do a little bit of the research. All right.